All right, it's 7 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the regular session of the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to order. This item on the agenda is roll call. Thank you. Next is consideration of minutes. Should have a copy of the last board meeting minutes in your packet. We have a motion to dispense with reading and approve as presented. Motion by Mr. Chastain. Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Next, we have recognition of visitors. I'd like to first recognize the Cookeville Police Chief, Randy Evans. He's here to make a presentation. Mr. Evans is the immediate past president of the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police. And Chief Evans, come on up.
I've been practicing saying Alderman, but we got council. And much like this body, we meet 2 times a month and present in front of those guys. So, Mayor and Aldermen, first of all, I want to thank you for the honor of giving me the privilege of appearing before you this evening. I'm here because I think it's important to recognize this department, this agency, for their 4th Tennessee law enforcement accreditation. These men and women, and certainly the leadership here, certainly understand the effort that goes into that endeavor, meeting 160 standards. And if you've ever been associated with an accreditation process, you need to kind of take a peek at what these folks have to do to maintain an accreditation. And having said that, it's pretty remarkable that this is their 4th award. My personal experience and observation is it's usually easy to get that accreditation and much tougher to maintain it for as long as they have. You know, I thought about what to say today, and of course I was kidding with Chief there in a minute. I said, well, I guess they think you brought you guys to say good things about you. And I thought it appropriate. If you haven't seen this report, I've actually encouraged Brian to send this to you guys, which is the summary of their accreditation by the accreditation committee. And I just thought I'd take just a few minutes and just read the summary recommendation of accreditation. And it reads, since the McMinnville Police Department was the first law enforcement agency in the state of Tennessee to be accredited through TLEA, a program administered by the TACP, and that's the Chiefs Association, it was no surprise that this agency has continued to effectively employ the accreditation process to improve professional law enforcement services provided to citizens of their community. The ongoing effort put forth to continually review and improve comprehensive policies and procedures reflects well upon the commitment of Chief Denton and the work of the accreditation matter Whitman in general. The knowledge and sense of teamwork displayed by key department members during the interviews conducted during the on-site assessment shows a positive sense of responsibility, ownership, and the depth of agency commitment to the benefits of accreditation. Therefore, the assessors can recommend the McMinnville Police Department continued recognition as an accredited agency without hesitation. And I think that speaks volumes to us as an organization, and it certainly speaks volumes about the McMinnville Police Department and leadership. So on behalf of the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police, it's my honor to present their 4th accreditation award to the McMinnville Chief.
Chief, thanks for coming back. I appreciate this. Yeah, that does take a lot of work to get that and keep it. We appreciate all of our officers. I know it's not just the chief that does it, he does a lot, but we have a lot of men behind him and women that do a really good job to help with that, so thanks a lot for that. So, do we have any other visitors that wish to address the board tonight?
Yes, Mandy, the Tourism Development Board. So I sent each of you a tourism update. I plan on doing this every month. I don't know if you had a chance to look over it or not. Do you have any questions for me? Also, I left a few items with you there, copies of the Tennessee Vacation Guide, and I earmarked the 3 places where we were featured. And these were not paid for. This was selected, free advertising given to us by the Tennessee Department of Forest Development. So it highlighted the Cumberland Cabins Live, Cumberland Biscuit Company, and Ringgold Mountain Fall. So this is widely used all over the United States, and it's one of their strongest marketing tools through the state. So over 1 million of these will go out to the U.S. and beyond. So just wanted you to know that we were featured in that. And also, I gave you a hard copy of the economic impact report for the state of Tennessee. So this comes out in September. I had sent to you a digital version, but I wanted you to have a hard copy as well. And I did, Alderman Brock, you had mentioned before, you wondered how they got these numbers and how they could verify those. It is the U.S. Travel Association that puts it together, but then the Department of Revenue checks it and verifies the numbers. And so they are legitimate numbers. And also, I gave you a copy of the Tourism Development Board audit that we received. So please, if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Aldermen. As we did last year, I've come to ask for permission, and I have the application to be looked at and hopefully approved to use the farmers market area for our cruise-ins that we do each month, the first Saturday of the month from April through October. That benefits kids of the community. We don't do one in May in respect to Back to the Strip, because we want to be involved in that as well. But what it basically entails is we just basically use the lot itself to park vehicles, and we ask that a restroom be left unlocked, and we'll lock it when we leave. And we had a great year last year, the first year we've ever done it up here, had a record turnout. We raised a lot of money for kids in the community, and we were able to give them another car for a young person that wasn't able to get one. And we already have a car donated for this year. Of course, we have to fix it up, but it's still a car, so we're going to work on that.
How much did you raise last year doing this for this event? You know?
About $1,200, and that's not counting the car.
Was the car for this event, was it procured through this event, or was that through other efforts also?
It's kind of a tag to it. We worked all year trying to find cars, and luckily last year the same thing happened that happened this year. We got a car before the season even started, so we basically took some of the money that we raised at our cruise-ins and we put brakes on the car. We had to put an ignition coil. We put tires on it. So we basically went through the car with the money, and then when we get the car or truck, whatever the case is, finished, then we just start basically getting buried the rest of the money. And all of this is paid for by sponsors. I already have, I think six of the 7 cruise-ins covered already by sponsors. They buy dash flags. And what we do, we don't charge for the cruise-in, but we ask them if they want to make a donation, we'll give them a dash flag, and that's what we do.
So you're asking for the use of the farmer's market, waiving the $100 fee?
Yes.
And then, but you're not asking to close down any streets, and you're not asking to close down the area around the farmer's market?
No. The more people there, the better.
Make a motion about that.
Second. Motion and second. How many cars participants?
It can go anywhere from 40 to 100. It really just depends. A lot of it depends on the weather, and it depends on what's going on.
Do these people sign up or anything like that? It's a show up?
Show up. We've got our regulars. There's usually 25 to 40 regulars that come pretty much every month, and then we'll have a lot. I have to admit, since we went to the farmer's market, we actually picked up a lot of people from out of our area. So it really grew last year.
In the shade?
Yes.
So I think one of the things we talked about right before this was waiving the fee, but requiring the deposit to still be paid because there are cars in there that have fluids and things like that. The deposit gets back to you, if things are cleaned up and left as they were.
Right.
So, you want to make that part of your motion?
Yes.
Second that one. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you. I'll get that deposit and the paperwork to you shortly.
Thank you. Do we have any other visitors?
Are we allowed to hold that deposit to the end of the year? Or,
We're doing it once a month for, what, 5 months or 6 months or something like that?
From April to October till May. So, yeah, you can hold it.
I mean, it's usually we're asked, finance wants us to return it as soon as possible. We can hold it to the end of the season.
Yeah. And if you have to use that deposit for, you just let them know that it might have to pay. I don't think that'll happen. Y'all work that out. Okay, do we have any other visitors that wish to be recognized and address the board?
I was going to be speaking regarding approval of one of the events. Is now the appropriate time to check in, which is,
If you're on, are you on the agenda already?
I'm not currently.
What's your
What
name?
event?
It's the Back to the Strip
It
event.
is on the agenda.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to communications. There are no items of communications. Next is petitions. There are no petitions. Item 6 is unfinished business. The first item under unfinished business is the request from Julie Carr on behalf of Junior Auxiliary of Greenville for permission to hold the Sip and Savor Tasting and Art Showcase 2020 on April 18, 2020 from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. downtown Greenville, requesting the use of the lot, electricity, and street closures of West Court Square, Depot Street, North Spring Street, and East Main Street from 5:15 p.m. until 10 p.m.
Hey, I went to the last meeting of the second open house meeting we had, and it was getting a little bit out of hand because we were getting confused about doing the policy and also what we hadn't done, which was approved or disapproved the ones that we had in front of us, because we really wanted to get this policy done. And I opened my mouth and said that we didn't have the policy done, but I would try to get the board to approve these, these 4 that we had in line without the policy, and then just have a cutoff date of everything beyond this, which is in June. We'll start implementing the policy, but to continue on with our normal, evaluation of it as we see fit, to either run them up or run them down. So I tried to, like I said, get that over with. These people really need a yes or no from us. Their sponsors are pushing them. They've got to get going even if something's out 3 months.
Okay. Katie?
Yeah.
Can you address the board on where we are with the policy, just sort of how the meetings went, how the input came back from the people requesting, and then also some of the people that attended that would be affected?
Yeah, so we had 2 meetings, if you remember, one, I think January 6th and one on January 30th. The January 6th meeting was really kind of a letting out of all downtown stakeholders were, businesses were represented, people who live downtown, people who work downtown, people who own property downtown, the event organizers were well represented, and they had an opportunity to share their opportunities that they saw in downtown events, as well as the challenges that everyone was feeling and facing with downtown events. So we took that information and we developed the draft policy, which I sent you all, and the draft procedure. So the June 30th meeting was an opportunity for folks to give feedback to an actual document, an actual policy and procedure. That meeting spent about 45 minutes to an hour going through the policy and procedure and kind of a lot of helpful pieces or edits to the application, a lot of good points of clarification. I think there are a number of things that we still need to figure out, and I'm going to work with Nolan on that. So we're holding to provide a final kind of thing, document to be approved by, what we've reached out to Rachel to suggest maybe it goes through buildings and grounds first, but through a committee and then up to the board. So we have to tackle some of those pieces, and those are pieces like, if we have a person who's a designated downtown event coordinator, how does that person take payments in our current system? If it's payments for using the farmer's market, typically Parks and Rec. So some of those internal questions that we have to get answered. What do we do if there's something that goes wrong on the day of an event? Who does the event organizer or events call to get that resolved? And getting them a real strong sense of who they would call. So stuff like that. So we're gonna sort out the correct path through the committees to the board, as well as those final questions, and then bring that to you for you all to do a final deep review of, and hopefully get approval.
Okay. Have a lot of the people, there's 4 in front of us tonight,
So-
have they all filled out the applications that we've looked?
Yes, so all
Okay, so
4 of
far.
those events came to the January 30th meeting. They all presented to the group about the plans for the event, I think the only department head who wasn't there was Frank, but he was ill, so everyone else was represented, and I sent the department heads the applications after the fact for them to review as well. And I hadn't gotten any comments back, I think, but they all had an opportunity to talk to the downtown stakeholders who were there. There were 2 businesses who were represented, including Evelyn Taylor Avenue had a representative, and Joe O'Neill from Collins River. Those were the folks who were came to kind of give feedback. So they had a chance. So we've had an opportunity for downtown stakeholders to really mold these events so that they can make aware of the impact they make on downtown, positive and negative, and have an opportunity for communication to address any issues.
Okay. I fielded some calls from people who are requesting closures, and one of the things I tried to stress was make sure to work with downtown businesses.
Yeah.
And it's hard because you don't know exactly which ones to work with or who it affects the most. So I hope this was a good, kind of let both people know how it affects so that they can work with them, so it can be beneficial to everyone, or at least as beneficial as possible.
And I would just, to that point, say that this first planning session was a kind of a test run. I don't think we had the business representation that we hoped for, but I think we certainly have the events there, and they had that feeling of what presenting and kind of, we got to feel out that whole process, and now we can focus on making sure the businesses are aware of this opportunity, and that this is their chance to really communicate and with the event organizers in order to address the concerns that they have.
Okay.
And the businesses that were there did make use of the opportunity. Did make use of the opportunity to really ask questions and really understand what the event was what it was gonna look like downtown, and if there were ways to address issues that they faced with all of them.
Okay. And so when I look at these, if we take them one at a time, you get a picture, but if you, right, if you have it, we have 4 of them in front of us right now, so I see a lot more. I think in the past we'd have somebody come in 1 month, and then maybe another month, someone else, another month, someone else. Here we have April 18th, April 25th, and May 2nd, so that's every Saturday for 3 Saturdays in a row, so it clearly affects businesses that, in one way or another, good or bad, I don't know.
Well, and to
Which way?
add to that, you're right that it's every weekend. One of them's a run, and so there's some variation, but one of the events said to me after the planning session, she's like, we thought we didn't really impact the businesses. We're happening before they opened, but then we realized we were. So then they purposely reached out to that business and are gonna get gift cards from them and order food from them in order to mitigate the impact that they're having on them by shutting the streets down. So, I think a lot of, when we started this process was to give, was to kind of open people's eyes to the impacts of de-risking, and in that way, it seems to be working.
All right, good.
Yeah, so that's the piece that I've lifted up. We are including the application in your packets now going forward, and as we get to the point where we actually adopt and approve the policy, I would love to hear feedback on whether this is helpful or not. But what I was sensing is you would get these letters and you didn't really know the full scope of what was gonna happen, and so this is an attempt at trying to give you as much information as we possibly can, so that you can make your decision with more information.
Thank you. It is very, the information in here is a lot. We have, I think a lot of the letters were really good
Yeah,
that we were getting, but not everybody included everything they needed or,
it wasn't consistent.
right, we didn't really know everything that we were trying to make a decision on. And this seems to do a really good job of that. So good job on taking the first stab at this. And I know we'll hopefully get a policy in place, tweak some of these things so that we don't want to make it where it's too hard to come downtown and use our spaces, because we want people to put on events, right? It's good. I think it's good for McMinnville. It's good for the people here. And it can be good for the businesses as well. I think some businesses, some of them get a lot of benefit, others maybe not as much, and maybe some don't get a benefit. So I think this is good for us to get involved.
And at the planning session, there was one of this summer was like, you give me the social media, I will send it around. If you just, so it opened the event's eyes, that there is a channel for them to use these events to promote and to help make their events a success too, so.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions of Katie from the board?
She did a great job.
Thank you.
Thank
Under duress.
you. We all got through it together. Thank you.
All right. So we have the request from Julie Carr, Junior Auxiliary. Do we have anyone from Jay here tonight?
I'm here.
Okay. Come on up. How many businesses are involved? Because I know you have a lot of businesses that are involved in your event, right?
Last year, we had about 20 downtown businesses that participated.
Okay. Do you have a preliminary count this year?
We do, I have 13 that are for sure right now.
Do you anticipate more than that?
Yes,
About the same as last
hopefully
year?
the same.
You have some commitments that aren't just fully committed yet?
Yes, I have some that are checking and yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this event.
We have a motion from Mr. Brock. Second from Mr. Chastain. Do we have any further discussion?
Mayor, my office has participated a couple of years in this event, probably will do so again. I'm just curious, what part does street closure have to do with this event? Because the patrons, by the very nature of the event, are walking from business location to business location. I mean, they're not driving from my office to Tammy Ross's office.
Right.
And parking, is there some purpose served to close traffic?
I think it's logistical. I think it allows them more people to walk on the street from one event to the other. I think if they were allowed to walk on the street, they would have not as much time to get from one place to another. And I think it adds to honestly, I think it adds to the ambiance of the event.
And safety?
And, well, yeah,
So I assume if you're at, say, the Park Theater or somewhere right there, and you want to go across to the Cumberland Biscuit, for example, you either have to go down to the library or down to the
Right,
Fort Square here and cross. And
right.
then
I mean, I think it's a better
Right back around.
logistical choice for us to be able to run regularly during that event.
How many patrons do you have?
We had about between 300, last year we had 300 bodies at, I think, at the event.
300 people,
Mhm.
and you're asking to, I'm still learning this application. What time are you asking to shut the street?
We're
down?
asking for 5:15 to shut down,
Okay, so that's this.
and the event begins at 6.
And that's after hours for the retail stores, and pretty much everybody's participating anyway, so. All the restaurants are gonna be participating.
And I've been there and the restaurants are full,
Yeah.
normally.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be a problem.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we have a request from Darlene Bryant, representative Queens for a Cause Autism Awareness Committee, for permission to hold the 9th annual 5K in downtown McMinnville, Saturday, April 25th, 2020. They're requesting road closures in front of the courthouse, fountain area, and Main Street at Magnus Library, use of the stage and electrical outlets. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Does anyone have any questions of Ms. Bryant?
Can you remind us the time? The only one that's listed was for the JA event.
I think in my letter I requested 7 AM till around 10
Right.
AM.
So it's five AM set up,
Well,
5 to 6 set up.
we set up on the side, so we don't have to really shut down the street until 6:30 to 7.
It's in the back of it too.
Once the
I was
chip
just
time,
trying to
people
figure out
get
the-
there.
Katie, where in here does it specifically say we need the street shut down from this time to this time?
It doesn't, so we can work on that. I think I was just making an assumption that setup time would be street closure time, but this
Okay.
is making it clear there needs to be a distinction, so I
Because I
can
think
adjust
people can
that.
set up, in your mind, you're probably thinking, well, we set up tents and things in the grassy lot, but we don't need street closures until a certain time.
Okay.
We actually set up tents real close to the fountain area, and our chip timing, I don't know if we talked to you about this the other day. I had asked Ann to mention it to you because I had to leave the other night, but the 2 parking spots right here on the corner next to the red light, by the fountain, our chip timing truck usually pulls in there, and so if there's somebody to block those 2 spots, maybe late the night before so nobody parks there, we've had to try to knock people down there to get those, before.
I think that, so, on the application on this, where it says other downtown areas, they just make a note of any special requests like that
Yeah.
to be put in, so, because that's gonna take up a couple spots,
It's
I
like
guess.
2 spots, and we've never had a problem, I think, except for maybe one time.
Okay.
Usually it's empty at 5 o'clock in the morning on a
Because we put
Saturday.
cones out later or early or something, just sometimes if we can make sure those spots are reserved,
Right.
so we can get that set up.
And usually the race is finished, I'd say by around 9, and then by the time we do awards and things, we're done by 9:30 or 10. I put 10, I believe, just so we have time to clean and so that we get everything out of the way.
Have you worked with downtown businesses that would be affected by this during those
Yes.
times?
We've actually got one of the restaurants that said he's gonna donate some door prizes to the race, and then one of the Cumberland Biscuit, we've talked to them, we're gonna actually buy some biscuits from them to give to our volunteers who help with on the corners and things. And we're gonna try to get some gift cards from some of the downtown businesses to do out door prizes and things
Okay.
like that. And almost all the businesses that we reached out to have allowed us to put our flyers and applications in their businesses, so people, it's helping give them some foot traffic when people come there to get the 5K applications and things.
Do you know of any other retail businesses that this affects?
Cumberland was the only one we could think of that early in the morning, and Citizens Track County, I spoke to Carla about that because it affects their drive-throughs.
Okay. Do they have any resistance to what you're asking for?
I think so.
What about the Yellow Bean? Is it good?
No, they turned until they get there. I mean, I guess it would be, I don't know what time they open.
They open at 7:30.
Okay. They would have Friday Park in the back.
Yeah, there's really no.
Well, you can come up that side.
All the retail businesses and restaurants usually open at 10 on Saturdays.
So the clothing shops are open at 10, Vanilla Bean, Cumberland Biscuit, the bank, are
We
those?
open at 8:30, but, you know, we're good.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Mr. Neal, second by Mr. Chastain. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, next we have request from Mary Lou Walker, organizer, Back to the Strip, for permission to hold the 2020 Back to the Strip event downtown Domingo on May 2nd, 2020. They're requesting street closures of Main Street from Chancery to Spring Street and streets around Foursquare, waste containers, use of the lot, electricity, and the stage.
I'm sorry, I give you 2 copies. This starts out with our sponsorship and where we start. And why we've not got to start getting our sponsors this year is because on our $250 levels and up, we tell them that we're giving them a booth space. And then when you flip on over to the next page, there's a picture. The top picture shows some of our Riverside Custom, who is a $250 sponsor, and O'Reilly's, who is a $3,500 sponsor. It also shows you how we utilize the vendor space. The next page shows you some pictures from our car show. The last shows you attendance on the strip. This was a very late night. And people always ask how many people come to the event, and I honestly don't know how to gauge that, other than to say we had a lot.
That's a cool aerial shot there. Who did that?
Rick Hayes.
That's a lot of traffic.
We had to be in the back here.
We tried to, we run out of time, I tried to find some downtown areas, because I really wanted to show what the street looked like in the middle of the day, and the thought came to me a little late, but some of y'all know I was a little frustrated at the last meeting, and it's because the timeline has got us in trouble. I'm already in trouble on some of my sponsors. I can't order medals for the 5K. That means we're down $5,000 for Meals on Wheels for not being able to have a 5K. I can't have a 5K and give medals out one year and don't have it the next, right? When I runner, I would be upset at that. So we've already lost $5,000 for Meals on Wheels. And if I don't, we could get started soon. It's going to be devastating to me. Last year, we raised over $31,000 for Meals on Wheels. This is all about our community.
So I guess you've got 2 separate places that you do your event. One of them is, of course, the street downtown, and then the other is the street up where there's, it looks like probably a larger amount of people than here. Not to take anything away from the downtown area,
Yes.
but 2 separate things. So what this is really talking about is the downtown area, the estimated people downtown, coming down to either sign up, do things like that. If there's cars, you can probably get a good estimate of that. Sponsors that come in, you can probably get a good estimate of that, how many people that they have. And I don't know how to tell you to estimate, but
Well,
just the people that walk through.
I can tell you cars, the last couple of years down here, we've had around 100, and that's with 5 weather. It's rained the last 2 years.
When we was at the fairgrounds, we had 150,
Okay.
180, every year was at the fairgrounds, and then we moved down here, hoping that it would, nobody actually just drives by the fairground and goes, oh, what's going on?
Right.
And who used to be with Main Street years ago, I don't remember her name, she was with, she was here, she always tried to get us to come down here every year, and we didn't really see the benefit of being down here, because it didn't come up as a strip. So then, I guess we opened our eyes up and said, you know, if we go downtown,
And Mr. Haley kept on going, moving downtown.
So how many cars did you say downtown?
100.
Okay. 100 cars, then that's all, a person, at least one person with each car, I hope.
Yes, yes, yes.
last year we had about 1,200 people roughly downtown. How many we had in the 5K that morning?
It was probably, we had probably over 100 that were registered, but that day, the way there was a question,
I
like
think
they
it was like
don't.
180 registered.
Yeah,
100.
why is it too late to?
I can't get mad at us.
Well, when we do all those races, they give coffee cups. I mean, I don't know that that would be, you know, you've got still 2.5 months.
The medals that we did last year was custom die cast for us. I can earn one, and that's a 90-day window.
Well, I'm just saying you could maybe use
Um,
they give coffee cups and all kinds of strange things, you know.
I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
Motion by
I have an objection to it. I'd like to speak if that'd be possible.
Sure. Go ahead, state your name.
My name is Danny Jones. I'm here with my wife Penny. We're the owners of Evelyn Taylor Avenue store. And we're here in opposition particularly to the car show that shuts down Main Street downtown. We have no opposition to the Back to the Strip event. It supports a very good cause. We supported that cause last year and in the past. So we definitely support them in their efforts for supporting Meals on Wheels. We have no opposition to the 5K, and I'd like to say on behalf of Penny, we have no opposition for the other events here. But I have three main points that I'd like to make and talk a little bit about each of those points on why we oppose. And Penny and I are here representing not only ourselves, but the unanimous consensus of the other downtown merchants that we've talked with, both restaurant owners as well as merchants and store owners. The first thing that I want to talk about and reason is the economic impact of the car show on downtown. Speaking for Penny and me, we've invested heavily in the downtown area in the past 2 years. We've purchased the Evelyn Taylor Avenue building. We've purchased the 2 lots at the corner of Spring and Main, across from First National. And we've also purchased the old unemployment office building over on Lion Street. So we believe in downtown. We're excited about the revitalization of downtown, and it's caused us not only to be excited about it, but to invest heavily in it. Saturday is by far the biggest day for the merchants downtown. The other events, they tend to bring people in on hours that are not the mainstream, like 10 to 2 during the prime business hours. So they not only do not have a negative economic impact, they bring in potential customers on hours that they normally wouldn't be there, early mornings or late evenings. So we believe those other events have a positive impact on downtown and Warren County.
So 2 to 10 is the big, that's.
Generally 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock are the prime store hours for us, other restaurant merchants and so forth. But the economic impact that the car show had on the other merchants as well as us was devastating last year when that event happened. Our store lost, comparing sales the previous Saturday and the following Saturday, we lost well over $2,000 in business on the day of the car show. It was like a ghost town as far as customers walking by our storefront. Other merchants had similar experiences. It represented about 80 to 90% of the loss of business for that day for us, and the other merchants expressed similar losses for them on those days.
Is that lost profits or lost sales?
That's lost sales. And so just the merchants that we've talked to in restaurant owners, I know Joe with Collins River, one of the last meetings, he said it would be worth $500 to him out of his pocket for that event not to come. For that, he said he would easily get $500 for that car show not to shut his storefront down on that day. We certainly feel the same way, and it'd be worth more than that to us, based on net sales. Every other store owner that we talked to friends of ours, and all felt the same way. It was a severe economic impact, and people who are coming downtown to shop, they're coming for a unique experience. They want that downtown feel, that unique shopping experience, and they can't go just anywhere else in Warren County to get that. So people who are looking to shop downtown, on that day, they had to go to Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Nashville, somewhere else other than Warren County. So conservatively, just a group of businesses, if we hold, there were several $1,000s in sales lost that day, and that also results in a loss of hundreds of dollars of tax revenue as well to the city. People who had to go elsewhere to shop that day. The second point, I've got 3 total points, is we feel like the car show is not a good fit for downtown. The people who are coming to the car show are primarily coming for a car show. They're not coming for a shopping or dining experience. They're coming to participate in the car show. We have nothing in opposition to a car show. Penny's family back in Knoxville was big supporters and participants in car shows for years, and we've been to several of them ourselves. But it's just not the proper fit for downtown. I'm a part-time farmer, and I love anything to do with agriculture, but I would feel the same way if we had a farm show that shut down downtown. It's just not the right fit for closing off Main Street, and just as the name implies, back to the Strip, we feel like it'd be more appropriate for the car show to be somewhere closer to the Strip. And I can think of 5 places off the top of my head that would be more appropriate than shutting down Main Street to have a car show.
What would you suggest on that?
Well, the 3 places that come to mind would be Plaza Shopping Center. We've had car shows there before. Northgate, they have the fair there, you know, the shopping center in front of WDG. They've had car shows there, very appropriate, right there close to the Strip. Probably equally as close to the Strip would be over at the Civic Center area. That's a city property that could be, the city could allow the participants to use free of charge, and it doesn't interfere with any merchants to have that show. The gentleman representing the car show himself admitted that they had 150 to 180 participants when they had it over at the fairground, but yet only had 100 when they had it downtown. So, you know, I want to refer back to those words. I even considered, you know, going past the Strip, there's a large vacant lot there that where the mobile homes used to be. I don't know the owner, but it'd be an outstanding place for a car show there. And you've got people coming right by that could stop in and see the car show easily. There just seems to be a lot more appropriate places to have a back to the Strip car show that would be closer to the Strip and would be a better fit than shutting down the downtown merchants in order to have that event. The third thing, the third point I wanted to make was the behavior of some of the participants in the car show. As the car show ended, as the competitions were closing out last year, some of the participants, not all, but a great many of them felt the need to burn their tires down Main Street on the way out of the show. And the handful of people who were walking the streets at that time were scrambling, grabbing their kids off the street, and every one of them who happened to venture into our store at that time were complaining about the smoke in the air and the burned tires. And I'm a little bit of a redneck myself, and I can appreciate a burnout as good as anybody. But there's a time and a place, and that was just certainly not the appropriate place. But when you got a sharp car and it's got a powerful engine, it's kind of hard not to get on that gas, and you got a wide open street there, and as you're leaving, to leave your mark. But it was just, if any of you had been there last year and saw how that event closed down during the prime shopping time normally, you wouldn't have any problem in opposing the car show.
And the
being
police was
in
even
there.
called from 3 different
Yeah,
merchants.
the police finally did come and control the situation, but it was, people, we had reportings of the burnouts and all, and it was just definitely not a family-friendly type of atmosphere, and very much in opposition to, I think, what we're trying to do, and bring people not only from McMinnville and Warren County, but out of the area into downtown to have that unique shopping experience. And more we're hearing from people who are coming from downtown, coming from out of the county just to shop in downtown. And when your prime day of the week is shut down and taken away. I guess one example I wanted to use as far as the economic impact, Walmart, they've always been a good community partner. They participate in charitable events, but if you went to Walmart and said, we want to shut down about 80 to 90% of your parking lot, and you're going to lose about 89% of your business on this given Saturday, they would not be a supporter of that either, and no other merchant around town is going to be supportive of something that's going to take away that much business on your prime shopping day, during the week. So it's something that all of the merchants that we know are very passionate about. We feel like that it's a very significant impact. So the 3 points was the economic impact, the fit, we feel like it's a bad fit, and the behavior of some of the participants in the car show. For those 3 reasons, we would urgently request that you deny the car show and shutting down of Main Street for this event. I'd be glad to take any other questions or any other thoughts.
Does anyone have any questions, this gentleman?
One thing I can say too is that one of the reasons we're making this policy is to try to evaluate where things fit better. The reason we have these people come tonight is they're in a position where they have to get an answer tonight or they're not going to be able to have a thing.
We're certainly sympathetic.
We do want to limit things that don't need to be shutting down the streets if we can. And that's the reason for the policy. But unfortunately, the policy's not made yet, and we're up against time frames here. So that's what's brought all this to a head. So it's not like we don't care.
Can we speak on some of the stuff you raised?
Katie, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that at the planning session on January 30th, just as a matter of fact, when Back to the Strip presented what they were planning to do, they actually did consolidate how much of downtown they were using so that they would no longer, last year they had the North Spring Street and the part of East Main Street in front of Lynn Taylor Avenue. They actually are consolidating, so they would just be ending at the intersection of North Spring Street and Main Street in order to allow for traffic to be able to flow across downtown and then continue up Main Street. So that was a change, a concession that was made in order to deal with some of the issues that the Evelyn Taylor and that side of Main Street were having last year.
But there was a mistake. That street was supposed to have been reopened. Spring Street was supposed to have been reopened after the 5K last year, and it was just completely
Well, we were
overlooked.
complaining about it, but nobody said that we could, I was told if I was to go and move it, that I would probably be arrested. Because I was told that it wasn't gonna be there, and then when it was there,
Who told you that?
Katie, because I said what would happen if I was to go and move it. And everybody was complaining about that, so if y'all knew about it,
We
why
didn't know. We just found out that that street remained closed at the first meeting in January.
You didn't know it
Well,
when
hey,
nobody was going through there?
Hold on a second, hold on, let's not have that discussion.
Well, the street was closed for the 5K that morning.
Talking about part G, is that right?
Yeah.
And it was supposed to have been reopened after the 5K.
And we was not aware that it wasn't reopened until the meeting in January. Another thing I would like to bring up is Joe O'Neill's comment on the $500 is he would get $500 if there was no food trucks, right? It wasn't to not have the event or to not, but when we got outside, he took that back. When I tried to take him up on the offer, Joe said, no, let your vendors come on, my restaurant is packed. So it's not here today.
On another point, there was one yellow car from Camaro, and he did leave, and he did do a burnout down there, and we did call the police ourselves. on him, and he will not be welcome back. We do not promote
Or condone.
any of that activity at all.
Or at least a dozen cars that were.
Yeah, we have it on the.
No, it wasn't. I was
We
there,
have a
I was there the
video.
whole day. I'm not gonna argue the fact of what went on at our event. The next thing is he made a point, he said that when the car done that, children and stuff had to run for safety and this, that, and other. But he also said in the same thing was, to quote his words was, is, you gotta clear open the street. I'm a hot rod guy. I seen an opportunity to burn it. That's what he said. There was no kids down there, there was no safety issue. We did recommend the guy who is not welcome back, at our event.
So let me ask questions on, so you've got.
And the only reason why we only had 100 the last 2 years.
Hold
we
on,
did rain
hold on just a
this year.
second. So we have Back to the Strip fundraiser for Meals on Wheels. Downtown portion of the event consists of car show, music, vendors, and concessions. Is there a 5K?
Not
No,
planned this
Not
time.
this year.
Okay. So this year, it would just be the vendors, concessions, and the car show. What part of that is the fundraiser for the Meals on Wheels?
All of it.
All of it.
I mean, what,
We raise money from interest from the car show,
okay,
from the vendors, from the sponsors,
okay.
from people, if they're food vendors, they rent spots.
They bring space for each
Yes,
part of
yes,
the
and then the car show, how they end up on the front of the shirt like this, is we give them mason jars, and people put money in the mason jars. And whoever raises the most money in the mason jar is who ends up on the front of our shirt that we sell the next year to also raise money.
Okay. And how much money did you raise at this downtown event? Just the downtown part, not the strip part?
I know that the 5K last year raised 5,000, and the car show raised.
Well, we can take away from just what we raised on the strip right now, it's about $3,500, so the rest of the money was raised because of what we sell in sponsorship, selling t-shirts and the event down here. We don't actually collect no money on the strip except for canned food.
That's just paid.
Or
Yes,
donations.
that's
But-
just for
yes.
paid.
But we do, people will stop and hand us money, at our booth in front of, warehouse. grocery
Yeah,
discount.
formerly Food Land.
They stop and donate money there. And I think we done, well, Jerry Butcher alone raised $1,100 to shave his head last year there. And then, Jimmy and them raised 2,500, 3,000.
35, something like
We got
that.
a picture of the check. We went and bought food with it.
So roughly, down here is what?
It's majority of our fundraising.
And that's 31,000?
Well, the first years we had it, we raised $5,200 and something dollars. The second year was 10,000, and that's when we had a little car show at the,
Food Land.
Food Land. And then when we went to the fairgrounds and started promoting, selling stuff, we've been over 30,000 every year. It's a total of $201 or $2,000 that we've done in the last 7 events, 8 events.
Not to mention the food.
With all of that information though, separate the other events from the downtown event, what would you estimate that particular?
90% of the money that we raise comes.
Give me a number, give me a dollar number,
25,000.
from the downtown sponsorship,
Okay.
booth rentals,
5K. Sponsorship.
5K was 5,000.
But that's not happening this year, the five food.
So about 15,000 then in the downtown, other than the raised, 15 would be from the other sponsorships.
And I don't know about that honestly.
Do you have an accounting, I mean, I don't know if y'all count those things or not, just to separate them out, because I know a lot of people, it's just,
It is
you're
all
not thinking
kind of-
about it as.
Oh, we're not, it's just all one lump sum. I mean, I try my best to keep up with how much the car show raises and how much t-shirt sales raise and things like that.
I'll ask you some of the same questions I asked others. What have you done to try to work with the downtown business owners to give them a benefit as well from the street closures and patrons coming downtown?
We didn't know we had this much of a problem with downtown business owners, and I don't think we do for the majority of them. I think there's a select few.
And we have always worked with Matt at Tops, and he works with us as well. We've worked with the banks, and Joe Mill, I did not realize that Joe wasn't on board until this year. You know, last year when we stepped up for the rain date, I had no idea that there was even a problem when we come in. And honestly, the first time we come before you, what we said is we don't want to move if we're not moving to our permanent home. It's not good for an event to jump around from spot to spot and not look stable. We come here for this to be our permanent home, but at the same token, I want to be someplace that we're not left behind. And I truly feel like we're not working.
Well, that's the whole point of what we were trying to do, is find out these things. Find out, are businesses going down because of closing on a Saturday, or are they benefiting from these things too? Because it seems like Meals on Wheels is benefiting, of course, right? I mean, they're getting money in, there's a lot that comes from downtown, but you've got it at the expense of some of these businesses. So it's almost like these businesses are giving up that money and putting it in, unwillingly, or forced, not unwillingly necessarily, but forced to put it toward Meals on Wheels. That, their profit is basically getting pushed into that. Because
And I do completely, I'm a small business owner, I do completely get that. And at the first meeting, I come in with stuff and said, I thought that what we was doing was going to try to help the business. And I come in with marketing ideas and said, look, this is what I do when I go run in other cities. And this is how they get us runners into the businesses. But all that's kind of went out the window. It's hard when no one wants to work with you.
I've had nobody approach me about trying to work with me about bringing business from this organization.
Your business was a sponsor last year.
Well,
I didn't realize you wasn't in favor of it as a
well,
sponsor.
whenever everybody acted the way they did, we had even Ashley out at Helen. One of the car people came in her store and told her off and told her that
Yeah.
Meals on Wheels will not deliver
That
food
was
to
me,
her when she gets
so
home.
that was me
Okay.
directly, so that's not true.
That's on,
That was after she shot bubbles on the $200,000 car and run the people off and said she owns them 2 parking spots and she owns the
well,
sidewalk
she
in front of
said
her
she was throwing
business.
bubbles outside of her store.
If we could move you to the civic center, what kind of impact would that have?
We're not moving. We're either approved for downtown or we're not, we're done with the car show.
But my thing is, why does it have to be downtown? Why can't it go back to Speedway?
Why did you want to be downtown for?
Because I bought a building downtown.
Why did you buy a building downtown?
Well,
I'm not
hold on.
I'm just
What
saying,
about-
you said you bought all these buildings downtown. There's
Hold
no
on,
reason.
hold on. So we had Blaine Wiltshire who was here earlier, and he does a car show at the farmer's markets covered. He said when he went there doing car shows, his numbers went up. There is a large area there.
Morning event, and the farmer's market is
Is that
going
open on that day?
Yes.
Okay.
What time's the firework? It wraps up before about noon, doesn't
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't start
it? The car show started?
What time does the strip part start?
About 5. Is what time we get there.
Personally, we feel like the farmer's market would be an ideal location. It doesn't shut down businesses.
But the farmer's market's going on at that time.
It shuts down around noon, there's pretty much nobody
But
there.
our car show's at 9
And it
to
shuts
3.
down Farmers Market, but it also shuts down Main Street too. So,
What stops the car show from starting, well, what time is the farmer's market, what time are they out?
They, last year they extended their hours to 1 PM, and I think the rental extends to actually 2 o'clock to give them time to clean up and all that kind of stuff.
That doesn't work for me.
They're usually not there that late, they do have it rented till that time.
Yeah, I think to Everett's point.
They're usually out by 12:30 or so, because they're stragglers.
And then to Everett's point, in May, I'm not sure when they'll, because it's not the big produce season quite yet, so they might not even stay as late as that. But it just, they have it until 2 is the rest.
So that's not gonna work. So we've got the options: approve, don't approve, change it. We approve the downtown businesses that get hurt, we approve. There's the Meals on Wheels gets a lot of income from this event. Don't approve it. Business people downtown are back to their regular sales. Don't approve it, Meals on Wheels loses a fairly large chunk. Those are the things in front of us. The other thing is approve it and find a way, whether it's possible or not, I don't know, find a way to partner with the businesses and usher people down there. Do the same things that some of the other folks have done. Buy door prizes from these people. usher them there, tell them, people go to these places and do these things, you know. Because if we keep having this type of issue with an event, you see what happens, right? And I'm not,
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think there's any fault, because it's hard to control people,
Yes.
right? It's hard to
Oh,
make
absolutely.
people, they go over here and buy their stuff, you know.
But they're not there for that, they're there for a car show.
I understand.
So it
No.
really takes away.
I understand the issue.
You know, and I guess one point, the people who are wanting to support the event, which we've been one of, they will support that event regardless of where it's held in the city or even in the county. I mean, people at Bonnaroo found a cow pasture that they could work with, you know. And they said themselves, they've had success at various locations around town. So
And why would it
that
stop if it's
particular
not?
location
Yeah.
is not key to their event. Their event could be held in other locations without extracting thousands of dollars from downtown merchants in order to have an event.
How much city parking have we got back here, not county?
That's what I.
Just not county, farmers market. I mean, how many spaces have we got all up and down the back?
Frank, do you know how many spaces we have?
No, I don't.
The blue building has a big parking lot goes around the side.
I don't know what we've got.
And people can't really drive by downtown to even see the car show if they can't get it on the road.
Well, people drive by and see that there's stuff going on.
Do you know how far back?
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll say y'all some
We're
trouble.
gonna pay.
That's okay.
I mean,
Honestly,
we don't wanna fight to do the right thing for our community, and I don't.
we'll find something.
We're
I will
gonna
say
talk
We
one
won't
about
put y'all in that position. We'll be the bigger person and we'll say thank you for your time, sorry for your trouble.
Well, these are things that we just have to consider.
I
mean,
understand.
Just
But
as,
honestly, it's either us gonna be on the hot seat or y'all gonna be on the hot seat, and
They're never gonna be satisfied, no matter what happens. And you're only gonna get complaints from us that day.
and you can ask Katie, I didn't wanna present at the last meeting, because I truly felt like we're not wanted down here, and I feel like we're trying to do a good thing for our community, for the people that really need it, but I'm tired of fighting for it. It's not worth my health, my blood pressure, and y'all's too. I understand that y'all are getting phone calls that get put through the ringer, and at some point, you just gotta throw a flag at the old thing.
Let me ask you something. Why are you so opposed to going someplace else other than downtown?
Not.
We're not necessarily opposed to going somewhere else.
It's gonna cost us some real good sponsors. We're gonna lose $3,500 from O'Reilly's. We're gonna lose some of these
Why would you lose that?
Because they want to come to our beautiful downtown and set up. This is corporate O'Reilly's. If you look at the pictures, this is not local.
They come out of Missouri.
They come a long way to be here. They need to do this before we move downtown.
I mean, we've got back in the back by the farmer's market, even if you can't use it. We've got the blue building.
Probably just still
Well, I
downtown.
can stress this, if we move anywhere, and I don't know that we will, there's three of us that go on. If we move anywhere, we'll move somewhere on the strip. The reason why we moved downtown is we thought it was a good fit for the community, it supports the community, downtown's beautiful.
Commissioner Hardy begged us to come.
It would benefit us and our sponsors with people coming by. If we go to the blue building, we're gonna be in the same thing, if we go to the farmer's market, we're gonna be in the same thing, that we won't get the people driving by. I'll guarantee you that most events that are held downtown, people don't know about them, they drive by and see them, and they come downtown.
But they can't
They
drive
can't
by, the
drive
streets
by.
closed.
They come out here, yeah.
There's an adjacent street on Morford Street that doesn't have the businesses that would be affected, that if it was vital that they had an event downtown, which
So they can drive by.
They do in Somerset.
Yeah, they shut down the whole town, 2 days in Somerset, Kentucky. In Sparta, they shut down all the way around the court square and have a band, and it's all city sponsored there. They have probably, honest to God, and I wish Blaine was here, because he's been there and Bill's been, they probably have 2,000 people at their event every month.
But
I
you
mean,
have-
there's a city parking lot there, right across Shampo, right there adjacent to Morford Street. As I said, we purchased the building on Lion Street. We would volunteer our parking lot free of charge on Lion Street to be utilized for this event.
Like I said, no, and we do appreciate it. I'm not here to argue with y'all at all, I'm not. I don't want y'all to hate me, I don't want y'all to bring, but these car show guys, they would not even come to the fairgrounds until we opened up the front entrance so they could come in the pavement.
Drive on that.
They wouldn't drive on the
They
grass.
drive through the food booths.
Our lot is paved, the city lot is paved, all of those suggestions I made.
Where are you talking about on this?
We go over on the corner of Line Street. City owns that parking lot, right there in the corner, by Hill's Cleaners, right there.
And we own the parking lot, we own the building beside Hill's Cleaner, the old unemployment office. So they can use our parking lot too with that.
I will say this, to save time and trouble, we're either interested in downtown or we're not interested in nothing except going and finding our own solution. And I'm not, and don't take that as me being any word.
But the businesses on the strip love what we do.
Yeah.
There's not a restaurant, there's not a business, most businesses up and down the strip, Walmart, everybody welcomes us there. We sell t-shirts at Walmart every Friday and Saturday, month of April. All the businesses and restaurants want us out there, so I just feel like maybe that's where we should be.
Yeah, it's not, I mean, I don't wanna say nobody doesn't want you down, we just have to find, and as Mayor Newman said, for me to reiterate, why we're doing this is to find a happy medium that benefits everybody and not the event holder, not just the downtown businesses. If, obviously Somerset and the other places you guys have mentioned, they've obviously had something going on for a while, that it's a total community event, and that's why we're doing this, to try to figure that out for ourselves, so.
Can I state one thing? I'm gonna say the same thing I stated the last meeting at the 30th that we had. There was 2 businesses there. That's the 30th. There's only one here tonight.
But we're representing the other business.
But if they wanted to be represented, they could have come here. I made time to be here. I took off work to be here. They've never been to one yet. They didn't even, when
This
they
is
wrote
the
y'all a
first
letter
one
last
we've
year.
been to since
Well,
we made
Let's, are you wanting to keep your application in place, or are you wanting to withdraw it?
We'll either be on the strip, I mean, either on Main Street, or we'll go find our own thing. And that's up to y'all. If y'all want to vote on it, you can. If not, we'll gladly bow out, not put it on the hot seat.
Well, we just,
Mr. Brock done everything he could do at that 30th meeting to get us here to this point, not throwing him in the hot seat at all. He made a statement at the meeting that this was bad timing on the application, trying to get stuff worked out. He felt like it was in the best interest for every event to be approved. Not saying that you said we would get approved, you said you do what you could to get us approved. So that's the reason why we're here tonight, and we was not gonna present the last time until Mr. Brock said that, because we waited 2 more weeks now to not sell sponsorships.
And we really need to move on. We really need to move on.
but I want to know, are you keeping your application in, or are you pulling it out? I just need to know so we know how to proceed going forward.
Yeah, let's vote on it. Why don't y'all vote? Let's.
Okay, so you're keeping your application, all right. Okay. So we've got the application in front of us on, request for back to the strip for the closures in the application. Motion, no second.
I thought we had vote.
I didn't hear the second. Someone second.
You do.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. I'm gonna call a voice, or a roll call vote.
Mr. Brock? Mr. Chastain?
Before I say yea or nay, I have to say this, based on feedback that I've gotten from the community and my own personal thoughts, I'm inclined to agree with them. I'm gonna vote for the yes now for this year, but I really do think going forward, arrangements need to be made to get it off of Main Street and in some other area downtown, so yes.
I agree. Okay, hang on.
No,
If we're gonna have to move, if we're gonna have to to
We're
move
in a
next
roll
year.
call vote, we're not doing any more discussion.
No, I'm just saying, there's safety the trouble of doing roll call votes. We're gonna have to move next year. There's no sense in us not moving.
Well,
this
the
year.
board may be a different makeup of people next year.
Okay.
So this is his, I mean, he's stating that for himself. He doesn't speak for this whole board.
Okay.
So your vote was aye, right?
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Osborne?
Yes.
Mrs. Cuddy? Yes. Mr. Neal?
Well, think Meals on Wheels is a great thing, and what y'all are doing is great. I'm gonna have to, be pro-business on this, no.
And this is a tough vote. You know, I mean, we have two worthy causes. In weighing both of these, that's a hard decision, you know, I wish that you would say, we're gonna do this, we're gonna look somewhere else. Now, I don't mean for this year, I just mean to take this in, because it's a good thing. I think people still enjoy it. We can still work together, either work harder to work through the businesses downtown, to figure out a way. Because I don't think you really knew coming up to this that there was opposition as much as there is, correct?
Correct.
That's what you said. Had you known that earlier, you probably would have gotten on the horse a little bit earlier and said, hey, I know this now. How can we rectify this situation? How can we turn some of our customers that come to your event towards some of the people who are downtown who've paid a lot of money, invested a lot of money, given up a lot of their life to do this stuff downtown, taking the risk to do it, you know? Because when people come downtown to use these things, use our downtown, there's a lot of people that pay taxes for it, you included. You know, y'all pay, if you live in the city, you pay city taxes, land taxes. If you purchase things here, you're paying sales tax. So you're paying for part of this downtown too. These people will pay a lot of money. They're also paying sales tax and land taxes on their stuff downtown. So I know you understand
Yes.
and appreciate the situation that our business owners are in and the position that we're in. I don't want you to give up on this because there's an issue. I think you can either work on it harder next year to help these businesses stay involved and make sure that people get, you know, patronize them somehow. Get gift cards from them. Do things that's gonna, if they're losing money on their busiest day, find a way to help them replace that, okay? Do some, I don't know how to do it, I'm not in your shoes, but there's a way to do it. Other events have done that. You know, other events, it's not the same. I don't know why it's not the same, and that's not my job to fix that, okay? We can give you the opportunity to do these things and try to work together. And that's what a lot of what Katie was trying to do too, okay? I don't want you to give up. If downtown, if you think you're gonna throw your hands up, you're not gonna do it, please do it somewhere else. You know, if we have another place in the city that you think would be better for it, you know, we want to be a catalyst for these types of events, but we want to please a lot of people. And that's not ever gonna happen. Yeah, we're never gonna please everybody. I'm with, I think these other folks, I'm gonna vote yes on it this year. I won't be here next year. No, that's not saying, and I appreciate everything that you folks do, and I appreciate you coming up here. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to look people in the face, and you're gonna get flack for it, you know, and that's hard to do.
We appreciate the opportunity to speak and make our presentation.
And we've been wanting people to come and talk to us about this, because we hear things. We hear, so-and-so says this, so-and-so says this, but until somebody comes up here and looks at us in the face and looks at the people requesting, that's hard to do. You know, and I respect y'all for doing that, and I know that these folks do too. You know, we don't want any bad blood between our business owners. We want to do what we can. I think we've done that 2 times tonight with 2 events that really help y'all out, right? I mean, those things are good. I assume they're good for your business. So that's a good thing. This one maybe isn't as good as for your business, but it's good for a lot of other people in our community. So I think, you know, we've hit a happy medium, at least because we've got some of these things that help you a lot. We're done doing so much, okay?
This is the reason we're trying to come up with a policy. We're trying to make, nobody's gonna be happy completely 100%. We're trying to make it so that we are. And the only reason we're rushing this through right now with either up or down is because these people have to know one way or the other. Because
but there's not, I mean, even like the other parking lot that we're willing to give things over there on Lion Street for them to utilize, that won't take away from the businesses in that parking lot.
I agree with you.
But let's talk
and
about
I
that
think
next year.
that's
Yeah.
something that we can talk
But
about.
why couldn't that be good, I mean.
Well, because it's coming time for they've got to get people in. With corporate sponsorships, I know from being on boards that try to get corporate sponsorships, it's not easy. I mean, you've got to get on their radar really early, because they have all these budgeting cycles that they do. If you're not on there, then you can lose those things. I mean, trying to get with Bridgestone on getting a sponsorship, you got to get them early. Any large corporate sponsorship, you generally do. So I understand that time-sensitive thing that y'all have, but this passes for this year. Still work with these businesses, find a way, even this year, to do it. Okay, find a way.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We'll try our best to work together this week.
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
Next, we have a request from Carla Savage, Chairperson Relay for Life, for use of city streets in Fort Square on June 6, 2020, for the 2020 Relay for Life event. They're requesting street closures, use of the stage, electricity, garbage cans, security, fire truck, and changing of the lights and the fountains at purple for the event. You're on the hot seat.
I just think I'm going only thing, a couple of things about the application. I probably will, I know I've got to increase my chair usage. I mean, instead of 100, I probably need 150. Scott's not paying any attention. And we do want to make sure that we can waive the fees. We don't, since this is a fundraiser, it's for cancer, we don't want to pay event fees, if that's humanly possible. We're not closing streets this year till about 3:30. We will close around the court squares on both sides and move the teams in, that type of thing, but not Main Street till, like I said, about 3:30, as late as possible. So if the business main hours are from 10 to 2, they should not have any trouble.
So again, Katie, on this application, it's that same issue with
Yeah,
setup time, start time, stop time. We probably
I'll put it in there.
put that in there, street closure time, and probably street closure time for A, B, C, D, E, F, street open time for A, B, C, D, E, F.
Yeah, I'll look at that page with a map on it and probably put it in there. And I'll work on some different, work it out so that it's as clear as possible that that's the information we need right there.
Where's B on this map?
It's on the courthouse.
I'm like,
It is.
Ford Square.
We'll clarify that.
B is,
It's the yellow. It's the yellow.
It's Court Square,
It's
yeah.
the yellow.
Court
Okay.
House.
That's why it's hard to read.
Oh. Oh.
I didn't know that either.
Work that on. Yes, I guess on that streets to be closed section, Katie, got A, B, C, D, F, G, so you've got the activity and area, so probably need a start and stop right there.
Okay, start and stop.
I'm just looking at, if I don't give this feedback now,
No, that's
because
great.
we're looking at things right now, and
It's
truly, this is a
perfect,
good
yeah.
time to do it.
I've learned a lot, I think with the planning application as well, I've really learned a lot tonight. This is good.
I'd like to know about the shopping on this event. Is there shopping?
We already stated we're very much in favor of the other three events.
So you get shopping in your store during this event?
I would
You
say
don't
you're
close-
probably
They don't close the
closed.
street.
We close
till
at
3,
6 and they don't
You
close.
close at 6?
Yeah.
On Saturdays?
Huh?
On Saturdays you close at 6?
Well, we close at 4 on Saturday, so
So
it's
on
on the
Saturday.
access.
Yeah.
In fact, so this So your street closure that you're requesting is at what time again?
Main Street will not be till about 3:30. We will close around Court Square on both sides and Depot Street at noon, so the booths can start, the teams can start pulling in.
So we don't close Spring Street.
We
No.
stop it, yeah, we
So
don't,
G is not
yeah,
closed,
we don't close Spring Street at all.
F isn't closed.
That gives Joe area
Access.
for people to park or to pick up or whatever.
F not closed, is it?
What's F?
Yeah.
F is not, no,
No, it's just.
no, because we stop at
You
Spring
stop at
Street.
Spring Street?
Yes,
Okay.
A,
so we don't close G or F.
okay.
Okay.
So C, D, and E close at 3:30, A closes at noon, and B closes at noon? That's, that's right, yeah, right around the courthouse.
It's not labeled as.
Then what time do you reopen? What time are you requesting to reopen? What time are you done?
Around 11, we'll probably be cleaned up and gone. We want to make sure all
11 PM on all
Yes.
requested closures?
Yes. Because we usually just open them all up at the same time. And it's somewhere around 11. We want to make sure all the garbage is picked up and, cleaned up.
Okay. You've estimated attendance of 1,000. Are these people coming in all at one time? Is this over a period of time? What is that?
Over the period of time, overnight, sometimes there's more people, just depends on what we're having at the stage, because there will be a live concert or something going on at the stage. But usually it's more like at the Survival Walk about 6:30, people start coming in for the Survival Walk and they stay to after the Luminaria.
Do people sign up for the walk part of it?
They usually sign up, like, we have a Survivor dinner, and they sign up on Thursday night before the relay, and then we have a Survivor tent that they can come, and if they haven't been to the dinner, they come there and register and pick up the T-shirts and that type of thing that night.
How many people register for the walk part of it?
Was there's more last year than we ever had, so that was, they probably bring in 300 T-shirts. Yeah.
You calculate that by sales of T-shirts?
Those T-shirts that the survivors get are free. So, we don't, but we don't have that many survivors walking. There's probably survivors themselves, not counting the caregivers, 70 to 100 survivors.
Doing that part of it?
And there are survivors that work the event more than walk it. I've never walked it, I will never walk it, but I'm a survivor and I'm there every year working it.
Okay. I know you raise a lot of money, people donate money for the event itself, leading up to it all year. I guess people are, correct me if I'm wrong, I may be assuming things. But you're collecting money all year. Do you also collect money at the event itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. In the past, we have raised anywhere from 20 to 50,000 the night of the event. It's not quite that much, it's more like 15 to 20,000 since we've moved downtown. But it's because we came from the football field and the teams were declining, crowd was declining. It was hard for us to set up and that sort of thing, so that's the reason we came down here. And we have more participants.
Okay.
So, we're still raising quite a bit of money that night.
Motion to approve.
motion by Mr. Brock, second by Mr. Chastain. How do you raise the money there that day?
We have food booths set up, we have games.
And they're paying money to set up?
They don't
or
pay
donations
the
set
money
up?
set up, they raise, or selling food items, and, the games, you have to pay, like
And
the
those,
games.
that money that they're raising goes directly to,
Really.
okay.
We sell luminarias, that night, we have an auction, that raises quite a bit of money. It usually raises about $5,000 that night.
Okay. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes. And thank you, I know that this is a lot of work. And we're not, this isn't supposed to be difficult,
Difficult.
but I know it is. This is, anytime we change anything, it's very difficult, on us too. I mean, it's difficult on us, it's difficult on you. Our hope is that we kind of get something in place so that everybody knows what we're doing. We get a lot of this information a lot further ahead of time, so we don't get kind of knocked with something that says, hey, we want to do this. A lot of times we feel, we have to say yes, but we don't know. We don't have time to ask the questions. We don't have time to figure out the information. So this has really been helpful for us, I think, and I hope it's been helpful for you just to see what some of the other issues are that are out there surrounding your events, because there's a lot of them that people don't, if we don't have these community feedback sessions, I don't mean like this tonight at the meeting, but leading up to this, leading up, once you make a request, we need people to get feedback, and we want people to come out more than two businesses. If there's people who are really concerned about something, encourage people to come out and speak for themselves, because that goes a lot further than kind of an appointed person to do that, okay? So, thank you to everybody for being here. We've got some other business to attend to. If you want to stick around, you're more than welcome to do that. If not, that's fine too. Thank you, Charlie. Appreciate
And something else I want to add to that, just a little thought, before we came, we had a meeting here at the chamber, we invited all the businesses, and again, Joe O'Neill, Jim Cannon.
And I support this call because I'm a survivor 7 years,
So, you know, it's the same, you know, we just have to figure out how to get all the merchants involved.
Thank you. All right, item 7 is new business. We'll consider change order request number 22. Mr. Main, can you present that to us, please?
All right, change order number 22 is, there were some doors, several doors that we felt needed to have glass to see through. That didn't have glass in the original design. They did have glass in the original construction, what was there existing. It just wasn't put in the new design. So, Scott noticed that. I don't know how many doors, how many,
18 or so.
18 doors, all had to be remade to insert the new glass.
And a lot of the questions we had at the committee meeting the other night were, why can't we just cut these doors open and put the glass in? So we can't do it because it's extremely expensive to cut a fire-rated door and put in a small piece of glass. It loses its integrity. There's only a couple of places that actually do that type of work. It's more expensive to do that than it is to just go ahead and buy new doors to put in there, and either find somewhere to store those old doors, sell them sell them somehow, you know, I don't know, but
Or we could use them in our next project, whatever that may
Who's paying for this one?
be.
we are.
Yeah, it's a straight change order.
It's recommended from the ad hoc committee that we pay for it. This was something that we didn't catch on the planning part of it. You know, you don't always, you just think, well, the doors will be fine, and then start seeing what they are, and there's not a window in them. We had windows in the other ones. So this is something that we didn't catch. I don't think it's an architectural issue. It's clearly not Sain's fault. We just didn't ask for it.
Motion to approve.
Motion from Mr. Neal, second from Mr. Chastain. And this is a total change of how much?
$18,864.
We have a motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes. Thank you. Next, we'll move on to resolutions. Resolution number 2098, resolution to apply to the Tennessee Department of Economic Community Development for Community Development Block Grant Funds.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Brock, second by Mrs. Alsbrook. This is what exactly? Who's here to present
It's
that?
for the sewer, I, is how it's been presented. A total of $710,000, $630,000 will be grant money, $80,000 would be match, or city match. And Mr. Brock had asked me the question about when we would find out. Typically, that's October. It could be as early this year, because it's election year, as July, or as late as November.
Okay.
So it would have to be completed by June of 2022.
Okay.
But from what Nathaniel's, everything's been submitted, we're just waiting to hear. It's very competitive, but he says it's probably our best chance, 50-50 shot of getting the money. So
We could use this for the Center Street project, I guess, right?
it could be used system-wide. It's earmarked, part of it's earmarked for that Highway 70 basin for the I&I, the infiltration that we have. But the way Allison Fox wanted it is we could use it system-wide as long as it's in the sewer lines.
Wastewater grant.
Okay. Do we have any further questions, any other discussion? Call for vote.
Mr. Brock?
Aye.
Mrs. Osborne?
Yes.
Mr. Chastain?
Yes.
Mrs. Kirby? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Moore?
Yes. Passes, thank you. Resolution number 2099, resolution to repeal, rescind, and make void in its entirety resolution number 1889 entitled "A Resolution of the City of McMinnville, Tennessee to commit its incremental recovery of its statutory share of the local option sales tax pursuant to the agreed order entered with Warren County, Tennessee, and funding projects included in its capital improvements plan to be adopted by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen insofar as permitted by law, adopted 22nd of January 2013, and to express the time when the resolution becomes effective."
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Brock, second by Mr. Chastain. Any discussion?
I think we've gone around the horn on the discussion on this thing.
I haven't heard any discussion though. The last meeting of committee, it passed with a yep and a yeah is what it sounded like it passed by. And so the full board has not had any discussion on it.
No, but
And so I I didn't know, if there's some kind of amended plan to it, or I didn't know what the plan was. If we're just releasing this $2 million, 2.5, if we're calling it all 2.8, whatever it is, if it's all just going to go back in the general fund. I think it's kind of a disservice that this money's just now gotten put into a CD and it is growing. We don't have many chances at new revenue, and this has brought in some form of a revenue. And if it goes back into just a bank account again, the past 5 years that it was in a regular bank account, it only grew at 0.2. It do what now?
All of their bank accounts are interest.
So there, but
So it has.
but it grew only $11,000 in 5 years before it got moved in this CD, and so the interest rate was so low, and accounts that I thought that was bad. I don't know. And I didn't know if this is gonna just totally take us out to zero rainy day fund, or if there's no plan for the future now, if there's no plan for future projects. But if we are coming in at potentially 10% under our budget for this year, then I don't know, the need hasn't been expressed.
What is the need for this area? I think you can express that.
All right. If you say, even if we come out even for the year, which, first of all, we did not have a balanced budget even this year. We pared it down, okay? If we get money back, it still doesn't make any difference because we're upside down on this year's budget. Even if we return the information. We have also spent $3.8 million over the last 3 years on capital items that came out of the general fund. It also means that if we took that $2.8 million out, we probably have $1 million to start the year with, which is not acceptable.
But that was all known whenever our budget was passed in August. I mean, nothing's changed. The department heads sound like they're doing good with the cuts, and so all that was known in the front end. And we haven't had a balanced budget in over 5 years.
We've had 2 in 5 years. We had 3 that were not.
But even if we release this money now, will we still be in a deficit at the end of the year? I mean, even with that. So are we just gonna have to next year balance more towards our or budget more towards our revenue? Just completely change the way we've been budgeting?
We did that last year, but we're gonna have to do more of it this coming year, yes. The answer is yes.
And so.
But this money is not one-time money.
No, it's not, but the way that it's already spent, though. I mean, it doesn't matter if it comes in perpetuity. It doesn't matter how long it comes in because we've already spent all this money. And we would need the $2 million in full right now to even balance the budget. And it won't
We've
come in.
spent, from the time that we started collecting this sales tax recovery money, Mr. Owen, how much have we spent
In the last 3 years,
for capital improvement projects?
in 3 years, we've spent $3.8 million.
I only went back 3 years, and that doesn't even count on the vehicles and things that we bought even during the last 2 years.
Is that just on
Some capital projects.
infrastructure and?
Yeah,
But you didn't have-
tennis court resurfacing, flooring, fire hall roof.
As that money came in though and accrued to 2016, we did have enough to pay for the fire truck in 2016, but moving forward from 2016 on the purchases, that money had not accrued enough to actually cover these purchases. And so, I mean, it had to come out of our general fund.
In hindsight, we should have probably financed that truck, but we didn't, and I recommended that we didn't. But at the same time, we should have, we probably should have.
Is it the paving that kind of tanked the budget, or?
Paving is a big chunk of it, because we've done $1 million every year for the last so many years. And that starts adding up on you real quick. That's the reason I'm hoping that there's enough money in the street aid budget this coming year that if we go back to paving, that we can take it out of that rather than taking it out of the general fund.
How much have we collected in total of that tax recovery?
36%.
No, how much the dollar amount?
Oh, dollar amount, we're up to 2.8, I think you got right now.
Yeah, it's 2.8.
Right around 2.8.
So if you look at just the infrastructure, capital improvements, not including vehicles, we've spent $1 million over what was set aside.
Just in 3 years.
And so if we pull out all this, the recovery money, that money's in the CD, and then there's a $500,000 in the other account. And so we had that $500,700 from this year, so that's $1.2 million. I didn't know if that would be enough is that 500 just in our general fund? And
All of this stuff really, we've treated it as the general fund regardless of, we put a separate accounting number on it, but that's it. It all has been in the same pot.
It's all basically general fund monies because it came from the general fund focus.
And I mean,
Sales
that's shown the whole time, whenever I was on board November of 2016, we had almost $7 million, and now we're down to 900. Is that kind of what?
No, that 70 million also included,
Well, that money was so low at that time, though.
well, it was around 2 million
it-
at that point.
No, the sales tax recovery money in 2016 was not that high, it was only about 800,000.
Yeah,
And so it's never shown, it's never grown. We've had this account that's grown for the past, 5, 6 years, that's actually never shown positive in our budget. And, it's just because we spent our cash.
We, like I said, the paving has really been a big eating, it's eaten up a lot of our money because all that money has come out of the general fund and not come out of the street aid fund. We didn't have the money in the street aid fund. Now we've got over $1 million in the street aid fund.
So do we have a plan moving forward for any future projects? If we open this money up now, we don't have any savings.
I'm afraid if we start intermingling these funds, it's just gonna kill our any police department, swimming pool, whatever, because we'll spend it on something
A recurring.
inside of the department, just part of the general budget, and it'll get away from us.
This
If we
budget
don't
finally now,
keep it separated, it will get away.
Well, can we,
we've trended,
we've spent 3.8 million on capital improvement projects. We've never said, we've never used our board to basically account for saying, all right, we've collected 2.8 million, now let's
stop doing it.
let's account for that and say, all right, we spent 3.8, we've got 2.8, now do we not spend anything on capital projects until we just put that money, put another $1 million up there?
I think we need to define what we're gonna call a capital project. Is every police car a capital project? What are we gonna call it? Are we just gonna look at things we build, buildings, and what all are we gonna count as capital? As roads, what all are we gonna count?
Is that a defined term?
but you can put your own limitations on it.
Well, we didn't put cars and stuff, I look at cars as an expense, so it's not a capital.
I thought somebody knew to mention cars and all that.
No,
As part of these numbers.
No, she said she did not.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But this budget, this 15.2 million that we have this year, that's the closest that we've come to taking out all the capital improvements projects. There's no paving or anything included in our budget this year, so.
One of the things that I tried to do last year was to get us to do a small tax increase, which did not pass this board. I think that we're going to have to do that this year. We've got, again, it's going to help us if we start back paving to be able to not take that out of the general fund. The numbers are going to be revealed probably in about April and May. We'll know what we're doing. It's almost impossible right now to guess at what's going to happen. Because we just don't know what the numbers are going to be. And it's hard to forecast them.
Our revenue should be around 13 million and our expenditures should be around 13 million.
That's
That's,
should be.
but I don't understand why the mystery's there.
It was worse than that, and we cut everybody's budget, and that's the reason it's as close as it is. That's my point.
If we don't, what do we have in our bank account right now, Shirley?
4,007,000.
Do we have enough for our bond covenants or for all the debt service and all that?
Right now, in the general fund, this includes the sales tax.
Right.
4,187,18.
I guess the point that I'm trying to make is we've already spent all the money we've collected from the sales tax. So we don't have anything really sitting in there.
Left.
Yeah, left right now. We'll collect some more.
It's
as it
just
comes
that
in, but
every
we've already
time that
spent
we've
that
ever
out.
talked about anything, our standard answer is, oh, it's budgeted for. Yeah, it's in the budget. Yeah, it's in the budget, but our budget is too high. We don't have the money to cover it. It just all comes from our cash flow.
Well, we're talking two different things here. We're talking one about the sales tax money. We're talking about a balanced budget as something that is two different items.
Well, no, the bottom line is that we've spent all the money and then we've spent our cash also, and we don't have a plan.
And if we're using the sales tax money to balance.
Right, and then now it goes back into, we've used it for one-time charges or costs, and now it's going into reoccurring. I understand the money's all gone, but it's just every time that we talk, even whenever we talked about doing paving, it was, oh yeah, we've got the sales tax money, it's okay, or we talked about the civic center, yes, we have the sales tax recovery money, we'll be able to do the police department, we'll be able to do, we will be able to do all that, and then now here we are 5 months after we've done the budget saying, no, sorry, we're gonna have to raise taxes $1.25 to balance this budget, and I don't get it.
May, Mr. Mayor, may I ask a further question?
Sure.
At the time the resolution was adopted that's presently under consideration for amendment or rescission, did that local sales tax recovery get earmarked in terms of reporting as a restricted fund balance in our financial statements?
No, I don't think so it was. I don't think so.
So it's not now,
It's not.
it hasn't been itemized as restricted funds, as other categories of restricted funds?
I don't think so.
I asked Mr. Control, and it's not, under that, there's 4 classifications. I
And
think, and it's
it
not.
talked about, a capital project, being adopted, whenever adopted, capital.
And I do recall that because I do recall there being discussion of compiling a list of proposed capital projects, budgeting and prioritizing, but I don't remember anything ever being done.
But some of the things that we have done were included in the draft that we
In that
had.
discussion.
Yes.
Well, the reason I asked my question is when we did the TML bond refinancing recently, I noticed in the borrowing undertaking that we executed, that we devote all revenues in the city from whatever source other than our enterprise fund to service of the debt. Is that
That's
appropriately
standard.
covered under that resolution before the board tonight? Is that a clear question?
Answer that, I didn't follow that.
Our bond indebtedness has a provision, including the most recent one, the TML refinance.
We always pledge all of our funds.
All
to-
revenues from all sources, except of course enterprise fund revenues, which are statutorily dedicated to those purposes.
Right,
Is that your understanding?
yes.
If the board passes the resolution prepared tonight, will it comply with the law with regard to that dedication of those revenues?
And even if they didn't, and we didn't have the money to make those debt payments, we would have to use that money, under what we pledged.
Okay, thank you.
The other thing that we have is we have 2 or 3 roll-offs coming, one next year, one the following year, and
It's not until 2023 that we actually get any kind of.
we get 1 in 22, I think.
There's one this year, I think there's one this year, and then there's not one until
Until
2023.
23 and then 24.
Yeah, and there's a big one in 24, but it's just getting to that 2022, 23 year.
That's the bridge.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And we're still a long ways until 2023. And so I just don't know if we're gonna be stagnant until then, or we don't have any plans moving forward.
I would hope not, but, we've just got to run the numbers, and
I've asked Mr. Ming to do a 3-year projected budget, because I know that's something that can be done, that we should be able to look further into the future than what we are right now.
well, we talked about, or he's talked about doing a capital improvement
A real one. that we
which I
can
think is a good
follow.
thing to do.
Because I think the one we did last year was just going through the motions, just to appease some of us.
Yeah,
I just feel to do it just to do it. And
Didn't seem like it was very.
I was trying to get to the point that we were spending all this money, even though we're saying we weren't, is what it was for last year. I mean, I understand we spend it. I don't not see that, and I understand that we spend that money.
To give you an idea of the debt service on $1 million
About 70,000.
is, yeah, it's 72,000, about 72,000.
That $2 million, if it grows this year, that might have enough for 1 year debt service payment. I just hated that the first few years that this was opened up, that it just grew nothing in the bank account, and that's where it's going back to.
And that's the reasoning for rescinding that resolution. Do we have any further discussion on this matter? Yeah, look at, I understand it's a matter of the county. We would have to spend it anyway, because it's money that we have. And I think we've spent that money anyway on capital projects that we've done. So when I say that, I'm talking about buildings, things like that. We've spent it on those already. We've got to free up the money that we have to do that. I don't know another way to account for that other than just rescind that and let us do it. Or we can say, we can have a motion to say, we've allocated this much money towards these capital projects, and that frees up the money that we have in our bank account still to be spent on general operating expenses for now. If we want to pay that back, that we spent $1 million over, then we put the $700,000 in a restricted account if we want to do that. That's another option that we can do.
I don't think just because this is going into the general fund that it limits us as far as long-term projects are concerned. The projects are going to be there regardless. And then how we pay for them is, is gonna come up, whether we finance them or whatever, or how we finance them.
Any further discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Brock?
Aye.
Mr. Chastain?
No.
Mrs. Osborne?
No.
Mrs. Kirby? Yes. Mr. Neal?
No.
And
Yes. Fails.
it's a tie.
Tom? Steve's not here.
Steve's not here.
So fails. Resolution number 2100, a resolution to authorize the city of McMinnville, Tennessee to accept the statewide contract 209-64423 bid from TT of Columbia, doing business as Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, and Fiat of Columbia for one 2020 Dodge Ram 1500 V8 SSV four-wheel drive in the total amount of $27,312.25 for the City of McMinnville Police Department, to authorize the city administrator of the City of McMinnville to issue the necessary purchase order on behalf of the City of McMinnville and to express the time of the resolution becomes effective. Motion by Mr. Neal, second by Mr. Chastain. Any discussion? the vote.
Mr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Chastain,
Yes.
Mrs. Osborne,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Aye.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes, passes. Next is resolution number 2101, a resolution of the city of McMinnville to adopt an in-car video and body-worn camera policy attached to the resolution as Exhibit 1 and made a part of this resolution by reference, and to express the time when the resolution becomes effective. Motion by Mr. Neal, second by Mr. Chastain. Any discussion on this? Did everybody get a chance to read through any of the revisions? There weren't, I don't think, a lot from what was originally presented. Anybody have any changes or anything else they would like to add or remove from it? I think this is good. Protect our officers, protect our people, our citizens, visitors. And no further discussion, call for the vote.
Mr. Hill,
Aye.
Mr. Chastain,
Yes.
Mrs. Osborne,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Aye.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes, passes. Next is resolution number 2102, resolution of the city of McMinnville to request a revision of the plans for the Magnus Drive intersection, TDOT project number 89951-1558-04, by moving a barrier back to permit an increase in the total number of queue vehicles heading eastbound, trying to turn left at the intersection of Highway 70S and Omni Drive, thereby reducing the danger of accidents at that intersection, and to express the time of the resolution becomes effective. Motion by Mr. Chastain,
Second.
second by Mr. Brock. Call for the vote. Or well, do we have any discussion on that matter? I didn't mean to cut
So
you.
we're just writing a letter to us and then back?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up to them whether they'll do it or not, but if we, I think if we request, then they're more likely to.
Traffic engineer was pretty
Yeah.
good about, he said that he would take our recommendation and
Right.
probably run with it. There were two options, obviously, one to extend the barrier, one to retract. the
And if
barrier.
it extended, did we figure out that whoever would be landlocked next to that professional building next to McMinnville Road,
Oh, not.
it would not, okay.
Yeah, there's one at
Nobody's gonna be landlocked, it may be
If it
harder
was
to get
extended,
somebody, but
if it was extended, it wouldn't have been.
no.
I think it cut out one of the entrances, but left another one. Okay. Any further discussion on that? All in favor, say, or excuse me, call for the vote.
Mr. Chastain,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Aye.
Mrs. Osborne,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper,
Yes.
Mr. Neal,
Yes.
Mayor Moore.
Yes, passes. All right, that's all.
We need to get a copy of that to that engineer, which I have the address on. I think Sam has it also.
Do you have an original one already for it? I'll sign these after the meeting.
Okay.
All right, next ordinances, none. Item 10, departmental reports. You guys have been pretty loud back there. I know you've got reports to give.
I do. Briefly, next Thursday night, 6 p.m., we're having our annual alumni event for the Citizens Police Academy. It's usually well attended. I know they would love to see you guys there. Detective Sergeant Stuart Whitman will do a presentation on Tennessee gun laws and the recent changes to those, particularly as they apply to handgun and carry permits and just general handgun safety. So we'd like to see you there. Next Thursday the 20th at 6 p.m.
Are you requesting a street vote?
No.
Anybody else?
Mayor, I have two things. I received a formal application from the owner of an existing multifamily apartment complex to submit, to the Mental Housing Authority for consideration for a pilot program. So
I don't think you should handle those formally. I mean, I think that should be handled by their attorney directly to the housing authority.
I'm talking about transmitting it to me, to the board. He sent it to me as the city attorney,
Okay.
just like the lawsuit that we served on me as city attorney. But my request is building and grounds, which I think would be the appropriate committee to entertain the application, have a call meeting, and I'll forward copies of it to Rachel, to yourself, and report. No, I'm not undertaking its representation at all.
No, I mean,
Only
when they just send that to the housing authority, correspond with the housing authority, and
No, the housing authority would not have the authority to take the action requested. I'm not representing them in any capacity, except as a conduit to be served by the city, just like I'm serving lawsuits when the city's sued by a third party.
they understand. I thought we usually get some type of action from the housing authority, say, hey, here's a project, we recommend doing something with it.
And by all means, it should be routed, and I think probably would also be routed to the pilot program, but I'm not in the weeds with the request, I'm just a conduit, so I'll send it along. The second matter, with regard to the request of the comptroller that we discussed at previous meetings, I had an extended conversation today with Mr. Steve Osborne at the comptroller's office. There has been informally reported at some meeting, been a reorganization at the comptroller's office. He is no longer the director of that division. He conferenced me in with the new director of that division, and so I expect between now and the next meeting to have some response from that newly designated person.
Good deal. Do we have any other department heads that wish to make a report? Mr. Manning, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Okay, next is announcements. Do we have any announcements? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 12, and that is adjournment.